if you're watching this recording, there's a very high chance that this would be one of those interesting broadcasts that goes in almost every single direction because I think my guest probably has technical difficulties at this time, so I'm not able to reach him right now. But the thing about putting a schedule to schedule things to make, whether it's creating content or calling somebody or sending an email, cool thing about that is once the time comes on, then you have two choices. You can either a just be like, you know what, just stop doing this thing. It's fine. I don't have to do it right now. Or you can go on ahead and do it and then prove to yourself that you can do the things that you say you're going to do. So for me, it's one of those moments when things don't work out as planned. I'm freaking out and I'm wondering, should I keep doing this? Like, do I keep, do this video? But what choice do I have? I can either not do that or I can try to do something. And before I even start, something that I was hoping to do that I'll probably talk about a lot during this video is there's been a tragedy that occurred in Cameroon, and children, little children going to school were murdered. And I mean, there's already been a lot of things happening in Cameroon at this particular point. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like I'm not even trying to feel like, oh, this is like there's so much thing I don't understand about politics, about like life, not just politics, life. Many things that I'll never understand and I'll never get. But I think the one thing that everybody gets is that children are supposed to be protected by everybody. And to see the news that gunmen went into a school because the kids wanted to go to school and took them down, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. There's no logical, it doesn't make sense, And today I was supposed to have a conversation with my friend Geraud, whose spoken word album I was listening to earlier. And we're going to talk about, what it means to be creative and building a creative career in Cameroon, because Geraud has been able to do the kind of things that I wanted to do when I was in Cameroon. He worked in a digital agency, creating content, video writing, marketing, and all that good stuff. And so his story, for me, what I wanted to share was, it makes someone angry, right? Like I see the emoji, the emoticon of the anger emoticon. And I think, I don't know if you're angry at me or you're angry at the situation. If you can comment for me to understand what's going on, because the thing about the internet is that the emojis can mean all kinds of things. But thanks, Super. Thank you. Yeah, it's Cameroon is going through a very. Who is what? Pero, what do you mean? Who is that? Who's where? Who did what? I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I didn't know how to have this conversation because I almost unconsciously try to stay away from politics, but it's one of those things I realize that no matter what you do, you can't. The whole world is run by politics. The laws, the taxes, salaries, like everything is politics. It's like somebody somewhere signed a paper and the actions affect you. So you can either know the actions that affect you and play within, the rules of that game, or ignore them and get the consequences. So whether you want to or not, politics affects you. Like whether you're vocal about it, whether you're actively invested as a politician, it doesn't matter. Politics affects all of us. And for the past, how many years? Since 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20. This is 4 years of war ongoing. I mean, this guy we are going to have a conversation about spoken word poetry. Oh, yeah. No, it's a Geraud. Geraud is here. Well, he's not here, but he was supposed to be here. And my goal or my hope is that as we talk along about these things, he's going to pop up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up one of his videos on YouTube and then share with you. But before I do that, I just wanted to say, like, Cameroon is going through a very weird period, Nigeria and Congo and all these countries, and I don't even know where to start. Like that's the part I've got. Like what can be done? What can we do? I don't know. So Geraud, who is that? So let's go to the live show. It's not going to be very long today because first I am not in the mood. I don't know if you can notice. I am not in the mood to do this. Yeah, politics created to oppress the people. I don't know, man. Politics has always existed. I think politicians can do a lot of good and they can do a lot of evil. So it's not. If you say that, then I'll say science too was created to oppress people. Religion was created, like everything was created to oppress people. I think it depends on how you look at it. For a system to run civilly, you need laws. I believe in the law. I believe that you need to have rules and regulation for how to do things. The question is when people take that to become very individualistic and greedy and do things only for themselves without looking at quote unquote the common good, like what the majority of people would benefit from. Because without laws, society is going to fall into chaos. I believe that you need those laws, you need those regulations. The thing is, with the times now, those regulations change and they should be adjusted. Like I don't know. I don't know anything about politics. I'm not going to attempt to think I can talk about politics. So let's go to today's live stream. Today's live stream was supposed to be with Geraud. Geraud is not available at the time at this moment. He had a show on CRTV. CRTV is like the nation's national TV station, where he talked about his work and his craft. And we're going to talk about two main things, which was building a creative career while in Cameroon and also his spoken word album Drift. What I'm going to do here, I'll take a moment while you're joining in. If you're watching from YouTube anywhere, please like the video and share it for other people to join. It's going to be a short stream, unless Geraud joins, so it's going to be probably max 30 minutes. I need to think about a couple of things and really just settle my spirits because I saw this news when I think it was this morning or yesterday, and I was just like, yeah, this is not nice. This is not nice. I had another stream with Tchassa yesterday. We talked about books and African literature. So if you're interested in that kind of topic and subject, the link will be on the YouTube channel or on Facebook, wherever you're watching. So hello to you, Pero. Hello to you, the Stupid. Stu, yeah, nice to have you here. What I'm going to do now is find a link to Geraud's video and then share my screen to show you the kind of work that he does. I think it's really cool work. I'll put a link here. I'm a little bit flustered right now, which is something that hardly happens. I tend to be very methodic and extremely cold and calculated. I mean, unless when I, I freak out. And so, Geraud, I think it should be here. Yeah, it shows that I'm live now, according to this. And that is not it. Okay, let me find something else. Sure. So I bought this album and I listened to the tracks. I was just listening to it right now. And so what I will do here is that I will open up the video and see if I can share it with you. Yep, you might be able to hear the audio. Well, probably need permission from Geraud to share this video with anybody else. But if you have any questions about the topic, I'm more than happy to share my opinion or at least keep it for the next time that Geraud and I will be able to jump in. So if you have any questions whatsoever on creativity, building a career as a creative, and also spoken word poetry. I mean, I'm not a spoken word expert, but I've done some spoken word poetry. I've written and I love it, and I can recognize good stuff when I say it. And I think Geraud stuff is really good. So what I'll do now is share my screen. Let me find the screen to share in the first place. I'll share my screen. Chrome tab. Voila. Bonsoir à tout le monde. Hey, Lorraine, welcome. Welcome. Good to have you. I was talking earlier about the news that we got about the kids who were shot in Kumba. And I am not in the good mood today because of that news. I mean, there's already bad things that are happening a lot, but it's just made it like there's just this cloud. I'm just thinking of the parents. I'm thinking of the kids whose lives have been stopped. And I don't know where to start, honestly. I don't know where to start. So that's the screen. I was sharing this screen for, let me see if I can make it smaller. Nope, no need. So yeah, that is, let me see if I can put this here. Can I put it here? I cannot. I'm trying to move the thing on StreamYard. I don't know if you can see it. But yeah, this whole situation just sucks. In my opinion, it's just messy situation that I don't like, and I don't know what to talk about. And I was hoping to talk to Geraud about this, but since we're here, we'll talk about it. So Geraud did a spoken word poetry, a spoken word album. It's very unique. I mean, I love spoken word poetry. I listen to people like Akotowa and Poetry Santewa, and other poems. And I think the first time I came across spoken word poetry, I think I did a video where I talked about this. I worked as a curator at Iya Boya. I don't know if you're from Cameroon and you're Boya, you know what Iya is. And it's a restaurant slash cultural center that had an amazing impact in my life as a creator. And I got the opportunity to work with amazing storytellers and tell beautiful stories and organize this Saturday. So Saturdays, last Saturday of the month, we'll have the Iya Guru night. And the first one was organized around December 2018, 2017, 18, 17. I don't know, confused. But we did that. And for some, let me put up my screen here to be big enough. For some reason, it grew. Like, we had events, we had workshops on film writing and script writing and all the things. And eventually, I learned how to perform on stage and lead a crowd thanks to my mentor, Alexander Quest, who really gave me the push and showed me the ropes. And, he was there. He was supporting and putting a lot of effort in making me realize that I had talent to do these things and I could do it. Because sometimes you might actually be good at something. You might have the innate ability to, I don't know, say, do math, right? But you almost always need somebody to support you, because at some point you'll have some dark moments. And if you don't, for you to build that system where you can self-support yourself with, your self-talk and all that, sometimes you need people in your life, whether it's parents, mentors, friends, partners, spouses, teammates, who give you support. And that was I got a lot of that at EA. And I was able to help other people do poetry and attend many events. So when I listened to Geraud's album, it just got me thinking about all these moments and all the things that we're trying to do, which is to tell stories in an auditorily appeasing format. And Geraud did that. So what we're going to do now, let me know. I'm going to try something, and you let me know if you can actually hear. I'm going to play Geraud's video. I do not have the rights to this video, and if Geraud decides to put it down for copyright issues, that would suck. But I'm going to play the video and we're going to see together, and for you to tell me what you think. And this is going to be weird because you're watching the stream. You're supposed to be watching me or watching you. Let's just go ahead and do it. So how does that work? Right here. I think I'll do a reaction video of the stream. I think that's what I'll be doing at this point. Let's go. Let me know if you can actually hear the sound.
It's been a long walk right up to this moment when everything it's kind of set, and it's something you really need to dive in and take your time to listen to enjoy the content, because I started creative writing in 2008. Even before I knew it was called creative writing. Half-baked ideas, foaming thoughts, cheek full of tears, distorted grammar, and a weak mindset like an empty purse. This was just it. Despite that, I dive hard with a big heart and a thick bat. Legs are stiff on the ground, face is dead on a frown, lips are zipped. Trying to speak, but I speak, cause the deeds around me makes me sick, hurts my prick, congeals my teeth. Yet I long for a way to comfort my people in my own voice. Open me that next but to my cool skin. If we be there for make the thing sweet pass, so no be man for day now the bicycle join and with the palm wine like life is El Chapo. Imagine say I no get nothing to tell you. Just imagine say I did bad fine, my bank account swell like Manfred Gary. I don't pack fine, the pack for them my skin as Sauvage and Burberry. If it Imagine say we did Hawaii the press before like caress on the hingman of a chair, sea breeze on white sand with clinch lips. Better so you sleep pound with sauce with wing top cup. Also for comfort my people in my own voice. My thoughts keep knocking my skull as ocean waves bashing against a rock. I'm stuck in this mud, feeling like a dog, not by a cock. As I empathize with my folks, mistreated and cheated, being hit below the belt on a daily basis. Enough, can't bear no more, can't scribble anymore, can't watch as an eyesore. So I think it's about time to face our oppressors and yell in their faces that they will never take away our freedom. In my own voice. Man be the imagine which kind of time man go reach house with one basic okko for your head inside grass like Chris cow. Rain the fall at the same time, mud for your food like you be shrine. The only option before chop sleep for table. One time I said, God, I wish they really suffer so go finish with my people in my own voice. Then I realized we are blessed just to be alive, just to be here, experiencing life, live, love, laugh every day and night, sharing no regrets. Went from depressed to be on your screen, monumental world. That's what it feels in my own voice.
This is it. This is what I have to share. And I mean, I really appreciate those who've been there so far, the producers, the friends, and family especially, you know, who have
So yeah, that is Geraud's
really inspired
album.
me to make this
Sorry,
podcast.
the song. So this is
I truly
Ututu,
appreciate you listening.
and he's done some other work before, as you can see here with this ovation. He did that's like I think at least a year ago. And yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think of this so far? I don't know if it's the first time you're listening to this. Have you ever listened to spoken word poetry? Have you ever had a chance to explore this kind of content? I would like to hear your thoughts. I see here already we have what the stupor did share. You know, she said sending sending prayers and good thoughts to you, Kamgan, for all Cameroon. Stay strong. Thank you. I mean, I know I'm not even experiencing an inch of what people are going through, have been going through for years, hidden in bushes and running in forests and trying to stay like it's yeah. So yep. It's not fun to think about people who are going through weird times like yeah. And Pero asked, "Who's that?" That's Geraud Eselem. Actually, iGeraud. That's his artist name. That's what he uses. And the guy who comes up game. Yep, that's the guy. And we had Lorraine who says she bonsoir tout le monde, bonsoir à toi aussi, ma chère. Pero, yep, he could hear. Lorraine could hear. It's Vivi. Hey, welcome. Good to see you here. And Pero says originality, and Lorraine says an awesome piece. I think it's an amazing. I think it's and it's just one out of the how many tracks that we have that he had on this album. I bought the album immediately. I think you can buy it from anywhere in the world, so it's not you don't have to be in the US or wherever. You can go online and get it with mobile money. So I really encourage you to go get the album. I'm going to share the link here of where you can get it and how much it's going to cost you to do that. I paid premium because as a creative myself, I strongly believe in putting your money where your mouth is. If I want to sell a product to you, I should be able to buy a product from you. I think it's only fair that we do that. That we should be able to support each other and get our product. So when I see an artist whose work I enjoy, I don't hesitate to buy it because I don't expect you to hesitate to buy mine when you do it. Which, by the way, I do have a hoodie. Shameless plug. I have a hoodie on Teespring. If you're available to get it and support me, go on ahead and buy the hoodie. I'm going to put up a link here. But first, before I do that, let me put up the link to get what's this month's. Oh, I scrolled and I forgot. You know when you're scrolling and you're talking and thinking, and just keep going. I just kept going and I've forgotten the link. It's right here. Jesus, why did I forget the link? I'll just find it in my links here. Let me see. It should be news. Yes, found it. Got it. Let me share my screen with you again. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to your questions and your feedback. And Pero says, I think it's incredible. I think it's really good. I think it's really good. I think there'll be more where that came from. I think Zero hasn't even begun his journey to show the kind of artist that he is. And fun fact, I actually went to school with Zero. He was one class ahead of me when I was doing journalism. And we did serve on the student government. I think he was the social media coordinator, and then I was the assistant public relations officer. So we worked together to do a bunch of things, and then eventually he graduated. Yep, yeah. Let's see here. Loren says it's her second time watching Ututu. I really enjoyed spoken word poetry. It's amazing. It's something that I love to do, and I've had a hard time coming up with pieces that I personally enjoy. I think I'm just very hard on myself, generally speaking. So when there's some things that I've written that I've performed. I've done some poetry here in Colorado, with in some spaces and some spoken word and some fiction, non-fiction actually, mostly not fiction. And it's an amazing feeling to be able to communicate your ideas in a format that is both, you know, auditorily appealing, like beautiful to hear and also beautiful to the heart, where it touches you in a way that you see the world very differently. And I think it's something that I would like to do more. And people who can do that are really good. And most people are able to actually appreciate and find a way to get that done. So I'm checking my messages here to see if Juro is available. He's still not available. I have a very strong feeling that it's either the internet. I'm just hoping that he's okay. Like I'm just thinking, like I hope he's fine wherever he is, because We haven't been able to keep in touch to talk about things, and he hasn't responded to my messages on Facebook. So if anybody knows where Geraud is, please check on him. Make sure he's okay. Like, you can always do interviews at some point, but people have to be safe. Yep. What is Wututu? What is that? So Wututu is the name of a village in the southwest region of Boya. I think Geraud would have been perfect to answer that question, but I know Wututu is actually the name of a place, and there should be historical relevance to him using that particular place. But it's one of the places that has a rich history, a rich culture, and people are very proud of their native land. So yeah, Wututu is a place. It's actually a place, but interpreting that would have been best for Geraud to be here. And I will actually ask him. That's one of the questions I wanted to ask him. What was that? So let me see if I can actually find anything about Wututu online. It's how's that? Wututu. But that's a very good question. And yep, actually, it's funny that you asked the question. Well, it's not funny that you asked the question. It's more like before I do that, I actually have the link open. So I'm going to share. I'm going to change here. Thanks, Lorraine. Go check on Geraud. If you can call him, find out what's going on. If everything is all right, that will be perfect. And at least we can always reschedule the conversation later on. I don't mind rescheduling. Like, yeah. So first, the album is going to be here on my screen right now. So this is Drift. This is the album Drift. You can find it on this link. I'm going to copy this link now and put it in the links here, so you can find it wherever you are. And I think you should support Geraud. Get this album. It's amazing. I loved it. Wututu is only one of the tracks in it, and I think it's something that you should check out. You especially if you're curious about the kind of language, because there's so many things. If you're not from Cameroon, there are things that you will not understand, but then it gives you the opportunity to get in touch with a different culture and get a sense of people's perspective. And I still feel that it cuts across almost every genre. If you can understand English, you understand this album. It's a beautiful album. I got it. You can buy it's $8 standard, gold is 16, and premium is 25. I paid 25 because I'm like, this guy needs to make more. I mean, I would like to be able to create for a living, and I know what it feels like to have someone and make a product and then sell it and then get the feedback. Because artists, I don't think, like, true artists, in my opinion, keep making and keep growing and keep making money so that they can keep making art. Like, having a business is great, being able to fund your dreams is great, but I think what is greater is having the ability to independently create what you want to create. And when I find the opportunity to support somebody like that, it means a lot to me. So I really recommend go there, buy the album, listen to it, and show your support to my man Geraud. So yeah, and I was searching for Wututu to show you what that is. Let me see. Let me stop that and then go back to here and share this link. So I'm going to share the other screen that I wanted to show you for, what was that? Wututu is a Google search. Cool. So I did a Google search and typed that in there. And here's what I found. Do you mean Wututu? No, this is Wututu. International school. Nope. So yeah, it's a neighborhood here in Boya. This is Cameroon. And this is Wututu. Bonadi Combo. And yeah, let me see. So for people who don't know where Cameroon is, let me see. Wow, this is actually huge. Let me zoom that out. So look at the continent. This is African continent. And this is Nigeria. This is where Nigeria is. For those who don't know where Cameroon, this is Cameroon. And this is Wututu right here. So I was born somewhere here, and I grew up somewhere around here and studied here, and then came here to, this is where the University of Boya is. And so Wututu is right here. This is Boya. This is the University of Boya, and this is Wututu, which is close to Limbe. I think Wututu is in Limbe, if I'm not wrong. And you have Botanical Garden, and this is the Atlantic Ocean that, grazes us. And this is, when people talk about slavery and slave trade and transatlantic slave trade, there are many historical sites here of where people actually sent their brothers and sisters into slavery, which is very evil, if you think about it. But yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys what I thought about Geraud's album and Wututu and all that. And so it's going to be a short stream. It's going to be 30 minutes max. So I have 6 minutes left, and I'm going to close this. Gonna make myself some, I don't know, lunch/breakfast, whatever it is I'm going to make this morning, and then carry on with my life, because I think there's a lot of work to be done. And yeah, so if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to talk about, let me know. because yeah, the whole kids thing is just, I don't really feel excited about, what's going on. I can't even watch the videos. I just saw the news. I just saw what's going on. I can't even, didn't even want to. Let me see if I can play some of the music. Maybe you can hear in the background. I don't have the rights. I don't think I'm allowed to play the music. I don't even think it's fair, artistically speaking, to be able to just play his music like that. The YouTube video is free on YouTube. You can go and watch it. Let me put a link here that you can do that. But for do Geraud is a cool dude. He has this very strong, this quiet intensity about him. I think it's very, very cool. Like, he's very determined, and it's something that I admire a lot. Like, nothing can bring him down. Nothing and no one can bring him down. No matter where you put him, he's going to survive. And something that I think every Cameroonian, every African needs to be able to, I think everybody, to be able to survive under any circumstances. It's a powerful thing, something that I'm still working on, trying to get myself in that place where no matter what happens, you can always get back up. And yeah, sharing your passion and beliefs with strangers. Lauren, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Sharing your passion and beliefs with strangers. Is that a question? Is that a topic? Is that, I'm confused. If you can clarify, I'll be more than happy to add my 2 francs or my 2 cents on it. Yeah. Let me know what you think. What do you mean by that? Sharing your passion and beliefs with strangers. And oh, by the way, if you'd like to join me on the stream and just chat, we can do that as well. I mean, I know it's supposed to be 4 minutes left, but I don't mind hopping in and having a conversation with you. So if you're interested, let me know. I'm going to put the link here to join, the invite link. I'll copy on clipboard. It's right here in the description. So if you click on that link, you'll be able to sign in and join me. And if nobody joins in a couple of minutes, I'll just cover it. But Lauren, I'm looking forward to your explanation of what you mean by sharing your passion and beliefs with strangers. I'd like to expand on that if that's okay with you. So yeah, welcome to the stream. This is the first time you're joining. My name is Kamga, and on this channel / Facebook page, I talk about meaning and connection. It's still a work in progress, trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with the talent that I have, and also help other people find value in their life. So whether it's finding meaning in the work that you do, or meaning in the life that you're living on your own terms, not necessarily becoming a billionaire, but really living on your own terms and also building better connections. If you're interested in that kind of content, please do hit the subscribe button and like this video and share with other people, because this is cool. It's cool stuff, and I'm enjoying this. Yep. Lauren says, to me, art is an attempt to think like God. That's a very powerful statement. To think like, do you think God thinks? I think he just does things. It's just like, is there even a word to describe his thought process? You think he has a brain, mind? I don't know. I think he's just epic. He doesn't need to think. He just knows everything that is, will be, should be, could be, like all of that. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, we could have you run that time. And yeah, so I'm going to close the stream in 2 minutes. Thank you so much for watching, Lorraine and Perol and the Stupor. And it's Vivi. I guess it's Vivian. I believe it's Vivian. And yeah, it's always nice reaching out and connecting. I love to come on live. Like, it's one thing I've always wanted to do, to actually do daily live streams and talk about things. Today's one of us. You're right, Lorraine. Today's been an overwhelming day. It's like, today's tough. Today's very tough. I mean, you've had NSARS in Nigeria, which has been tough. People have been killing, and you're finding it's just, yeah, it's just tough. It's just really tough. I may not even put this stream on my. I don't know if I'll leave this stream on. I might have to put it unlisted. I'm not sure, but I want to jump in here and connect a little bit, share a little bit what's going on, and just ask, if you can pray for the country, pray for the continent. There's like a lot of things that we need. So I know prayer is not the only way you fix things, but prayer does surely help a lot. So you can pray for those families, for the parents who send their kids to school, and then just, yeah, can't even begin to imagine. Jesus. But anyway, 30 minutes, It's good to have you. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm going to be jumping in somewhere and figuring things out. And yeah, Lorraine, thank you. Pero, thank you. Vivi, thank you for being here. Stuport, Stu, thank you for showing up. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Let me see. Somebody messaged me. Oh, Geraud is sort of available, but yeah, we're going to risk. All right. It looks like we've had a new development. My friend Geraud is available. And so yeah, we might actually be able to go live. So let me see. Let me see energy and time. Let me find out from Geraud if we want to reschedule. And then if we can do it now, we'll do it. If we have to reschedule, we'll reschedule. I prefer to get things done the right way with my guests. If you sharing your passion and beliefs, I'm talking about being an artist. Yes. Yes. That is what it is, right? You go online, use this. Or we can join now. It's going to be a very long stream. But anyway, hey, by the way, this is a very random question. Would you be interested in watching video game live stream? Like, this is totally out of context for anything. I know you're probably not the audience for this, but I'm just curious because my friend Mark and I have been doing these live streams on his channel, and I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. We're playing Rogue Company, and we finished Halo, the first Halo yesterday. We played for like 2 days and finished it. And video games have been a huge part of my life. It's something that I used to really put on the side, or that I've tried to downplay because of productivity and all that. Oh yeah, he's joining now. Great. Looks like my buddy Geraud will be joining, and we'll pick up from there. Yeah, it's good. So let's go on here, and we'll have Geraud in a bit. So thank you for staying with me and holding the fort. This was a very long 30 minutes of holding the fort. So Geraud is going to be here. We'll talk about his journey as a creative. We'll talk about his album, and please go get the album, by the way. Get the album. And also, yeah. He's about to ask about that. Ask about what? Eman, my good friend Eman, went to school together. Dude is killing it in the podcasting, digital marketing space. Eman, what do you mean by wanted to ask about what? Ask about what? Just to be clear. I'm confused. I don't like this one-sided conversation where I only see what you're saying. I can't really have the feedback that I need. Yes, my good friend Geraud just popped in. I think he's setting up his things. I'm not able to see. Yes, I see him now. So, guys, we're about to get into some really interesting times. Geraud, if you can hear me and you're ready, just nod. Oh, okay, cool. Geraud is ready. So, Eman, stay tuned. We're going to talk about that. It's very interesting, and I like it, and I think it's going to be fun. I've wanted to try that out, so we'll see. But yes, it's something that I want to do, and I'm still curious to see if it's possible. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be bringing in my friend Geraud, iGeraud, Ebiele, or Eselem. I don't know. I have to correct that with him in just a moment. So I'm happy. I'm happy. I'll let him, take a breather for like 2 minutes, maybe get some water to drink if he needs to, and then we'll get on, because I'm sure he's had a very long day, and I know it's been overwhelming, and I'm sure he's heard the news too about the killings, and it's like there's just so much happening. So yeah, I'm glad he's here. Yeah, Lorraine is happy to see her, man. I am happy to. So while we're doing that, the video game. So I've been playing video games with my friend Mark on his channel, Leave Your Mark, and we finished Halo the other day. And so yeah, I'm curious to know if you'd be interested in me live streaming myself, because I get very, very weird when I play games. It's like you see a different side of me. But anyway, I think Geraud is ready, so we're going to jump in. Yes, let me know. Just a nod. Okay, cool. Brother, Asha.
Thank you, bro.
I don't. You don't even need to explain anything, because I know that things happen in a very strange way. I'm going to move this around a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, My friend Geraud is here. Geraud. By the way, I don't know if you saw the stream, but we actually played Wututu and watched it, and watched the video. I sent the link for people to get the album and wrap it up. So if you're watching this and you're having a good time, we're about to start the real conversation we're supposed to have today, which is Geraud here to talk about building a creative career while in Cameroon, which is something that I think many people don't realize is possible, which you've done, and would love to hear about your story. And also the spoken word album that I really enjoyed and I want everybody to be able to listen to. So to start with, Geraud, if you'd like to just give us a brief introduction. I mean, I've talked about you here about the fact I went to journalism together. You work in the digital marketing space, and you're doing a lot of things. And you're also the founder of UPDEY Studios, and you created content. I just watched the video recently that you did for Anya Songani, and it was amazing. I was like, this is really good video content. And so, yeah, for those who don't know you, who've never seen you, can you give an introduction of your stories?
All right. Just to be a gentleman, I would really like to apologize first of all for the late start. And I am iGeraud Eselem. You
think we're having some
basic, and yeah, okay, yeah, and
so Geraud, I don't know if you can hear me, but you might have to start over again because I think you're breaking up. I don't know if it's just for me or for everybody who's watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, like I was saying, I'm iGeraud Eselem, and I'm a creative, really interested in pushing creativity, arts to another level. And it's always an interesting, issue when you figure out that there is a problem. There's actually not a problem, but there's a need for a push when it comes to creating art, as in creative writing, spoken words, advertisement, and all. I always have these ideas in my head, and sometimes I just feel like I really need to keep them to myself, and I don't need to put them out there. Maybe people are not going to understand me. Maybe people are not going to resonate with my art and all. And that's where I'm coming from. That's my whole thought process. That's my whole background. I'm just trying to be that guy who wants to push things to the next level. And yeah, that's me. That's iGeraud.
Okay. Were you always like this? Is this something that you had from? Because I mean, the intro of the album basically says what they're talking about, but I'd like to find out from your story, like your personal life and the things that you've lived through, because a lot of that has influenced the work that you do today, the relationships that you have. And I'm curious to know, like, how did you grow up in this space to get to the point where you're making a spoken word album and producing score music? Like, how was little Geraud, and how did he grow up to become this guy today?
Thank you very much for that question. Clean story. This is me. Maybe between the age of 7 to 10, 15, I used to be that kid who would just stay at home and take pieces of papers and just carve them in the form of a person and just start creating a story, like, you're in a car, a movement, a whole story that might just get to another level and get to another level and get to another level. That used to be like my own way of passing time. And I left that since I became an adult. It was kind of funny for me to start picking papers and playing with toys and all. I spent most of my time imagining weird stuff. Like, I'm in a taxi, right? I'm moving from one place to another. In my head, I'm thinking of some weird stuff, like everybody has seat belts with some helmet that has glasses inside where you can see a different vision of your destination. I'm just always trying to push stuff. Like, I'm that, I won't call myself Elon Musk, but I'm that kind of person. Like, what is different that I can bring? What was that unique stuff? What's that next level stuff? So first of all, I grew up in an agrarian zone. I grew up basically from Mututu. My story is there. That's why I really put my own energy in that track. And man, I won't lie, the humility, the togetherness, that growth, that hard work actually built me into who I am right now. It's like the backbone of my values, my thought process, man. And also, I'll also give this to my mother. That woman's discipline level is, I don't know, it's beyond something. To have a mom that later took the nickname of Mamie Gendarme can actually tell you the whole story of my background as a child. you don't need to mess up. Like there's a fine line between you doing the right thing at the right time and you trying to go out of line. Like she will correct you immediately. So these things actually shape my value, they shape my thoughts. I mean, I'm not trying to paint myself as saint here. I had relationship with, funny relationship with different kind of people who had different kind of thoughts about life, going wayward and all that stuff. But I kept coming back to those values. I kept coming back to the reason why we really need to do things right. The reason why, even if you have to mess up sometimes in life, you always need to call yourself back to your values, like the humility, the respect for elders, the being ethical with your behaviors. It's always that morality in me never changed, and it's from this basis that I actually thought of creating this Drift album, because the album itself has a lot of my stuff. Just to make a point clear here, this album is entirely personal. Like it's me sharing my personal experience. It's kind of complex for you to just drive through and get everything clear. There's a lot of information there that people really need to put me down and say,
what do you mean here?
What that line all about? So that's very difficult for me, and I'm really grateful for this platform, for you calling me up here to interview me and we talk about this, because I've started the process already. I started with TV. I was here only, actually. The story of me coming late and all it's just me. I just arrived from here. I'm Douala now. So
thank you for being here, man.
It's difficult for me to actually, So I'm trying to do my best to actually break down every part of the content as much as I can, because I'm already working on the next one. I have my producer call me just 2 days after we dropped Drift, and he was like, "Bro, this is an instrumental that we need to work on," and I'm like,
that's how it should be.
Guy doesn't really want me to.
No, I think that's how it should be for artists. Like the next thing should always be like, that's the way it should be. Man, I'm curious about your take on family, because there's something your brother has been a distant kind of, not even a mentor, but more like a kind of limelight, because he went through GMC, he finished one of those top people who, even up to now, whenever you see your grandfather somewhere, like, this is a grandfather that is living the kind of life that you'll be proud to live. And what you talk about your mom, being a Mamie Gendarme, and you've mentioned, I know you talk about your brother, and you guys always, you're pretty close, if I'm not wrong. And I want to find out from you, what role did family play? Because I know that your story has not been it hasn't been all limelight and joy and happiness and all that. And I'm trying to find out, how has that been for you? How did you build this kind of relationship with your family? And how has that affected the way that you look at the world, the way you look at family as a whole?
Yes, I would say this. Family to me, it's like the primary, like that's they have actually been like my support system so far. That's just the base. But this is what I have to say about family. There's always been this vacuum when it comes to me looking at my family, because when you talk of a family, you talk about mom, dad, your brothers, your cousins, and all. I grew up without my dad, man, and I was 7 when he died. At that time, I could not process death. To me, he just left. I mean, he's not there. This guy used to buy me yogurt. This guy used to take me out on lunch and all. And all of a sudden, I was like, September 18, 1999, I can vividly remember it was an evening, Saturday, and they just took us up from bed and they're like, your dad is dead. Like, that's how they told us. And I came up, I looked at him, he was just lying there, and I'm like, I was feeling sleepy. They took us to the neighbors and all. So after that period, it took me about 4 to 5 years for me to understand that I don't have a dad. This guy is not here, and my mom is responsible for everything. And me connecting with my other friends, seeing their parents, especially their dad, connecting with them, I just became empty. And I've been trying to understand how it feels like to have a dad, to really have a dad in your life, to really have somebody you call papa, daddy. How does it feel like? It's been troubling me a lot, because I'm not trying to say I'm being ungrateful here. My mom, my family, they have been there for me. This is the thing. Simple things like, seeing how my friends, their dads call them to order and, have a chat with them. Some of them will be with me. I'm like, oh, my dad just called me, they're trying to tell me about the new shoes and all. And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Shit,
How does how does that love feels like? And bro, I won't lie to you, it has been a struggle. It has been a struggle for me. And I tried my best to overcome that. I tried my best to just admit that. And that's where I won't lie, my elder brother and everybody in my family took it as a motivation to move forward. He's not there, point blank. What are we going to do? Let's work together as a family. Those who are left behind, to push each other, to grow each other. My elder brother was there. Thank God, he had a great job to raise us up, to pay our fees. He was like the dad of the family at that time with my elder sister. So my mom was just there for the support, moral support, and all that. So I didn't. This story is some exclusive stuff. Like, I didn't want to go back. Everything is inside. Everything is inside that album, Drift. I tried my best to come out. It's like my own way of saying, this is me. Don't see me as that social media guy who just tweet cool stuff and act like I don't have problems, act like I don't have some child trauma and all. This is where I'm coming from. I've also been depressed. I've also been stressed. I've also been disappointed, heartbroken and all. It's okay. This is where I'm coming from. This is the kind of content I'm trying to create. But Drift was more of personal because it was about me. I wasn't sharing anybody's story. It was about me putting out my own energy out there. It was about me talking about the oppressed, what is happening in Cameroon right now. It was about me trying to share my thoughts on religion, share my thoughts on skin bleaching and all. If we have to break down that album, bro.
You need another album to break down the album.
Almost everything is inside.
Man, I can't even begin to imagine what you went through or what you are going through and how you've been able to stay on top of things, because I know that you work very hard. And I was describing you both in the description and even here earlier that you have this quiet intensity that nothing is going to stop you no matter what. Like, you're not particularly forceful in your appearance and jumping on things and making noise. Even back in JMC, like, you're just a quiet, silent dude, but like, don't mess with that guy because something can happen. You don't know what it is, but just be careful. And I remember the last time that we talked, we had a longer conversation, was in Douala. We had lunch at I've forgotten this place, but that was the last time we talked. Yeah. And in my mind, honestly, at the time I was like, I'll be working, because I was working at AJ Partner. I was like, I'll finish working, we'll start something together and then run a business. I was seeing this future. And then you've been able to be in Douala, which is already a very difficult town to be in. Like, anybody who knows Douala knows that, if you don't get sense, like, you cannot survive in Douala without knowing what you're doing. And you've been able to survive in Douala, start a business, and build something that you're working towards. It might not be complete yet. It's not $1 million or anything, but you've been able to do that. So the question I have for you, for people who are watching, who may not, first of all, who may not even know where to start, it's like, how do you have the mindset of becoming a creative in a country that seems to hate creatives?
Thank you very much for that question, bro. May your questions is just so on point. It's one of the most resilient tasks that you can ever take in this country right now, to be an independent creative. Worst of all, doing spoken words. Like, most people don't get it. Like, most people don't get it at all. I mean, I remember in 2016, that was the first day, the year I dropped my first ever spoken word art ovation,
right?
And, yes. And when I dropped it, and people were like, you might don't do an Afro beat, you're a rapper now. you might don't know a musician. The whole time I was like, wow, it's crazy. It's so crazy, to a point where recently I even had to work with someone, and I send the instrumental. I'm like, I have this spoken word piece I'm supposed to work on. I need your vocals and all. And she got back to me. She was like, what spoken words again? I had to explain what spoken word is. So back to the question. It's difficult. It's difficult because, one, you have to deal with what we're dealing right now, people's mentality. It's a tough time to be a creative in Cameroon. Like, people are so stressed. This is not me generalizing, but most people are
Yeah.
going through something. And it's difficult to just put people down and share your art and expect them to connect and feel good about everything. It's very difficult. Also, we talk about pushing your content, like the financial aspect of it, the promotion of it. How do you really want to promote a spoken word piece in this country where first of all, you haven't arranged your target audience, your niche, and all that stuff. So right now, like I said in the beginning of answering this question, I said it's the most resilient task that I've taken upon myself. And I'm just like, that road you go down where there's a fork, you don't just know what's happening next, but you just keep going. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just going through that foggy road, hoping that someday people will appreciate this. But I'm not just doing it as spoken words. I'm trying to connect with other people, with other producers, because I'm also interested in film scoring.
Yeah.
And I'm presently I'm working like with two cinematographers, where the initial plan for Drift actually was to do a movie, like do the spoken words, do a short movie of 30 minutes, where instead of having a video for each, we create a story that connects
All
from
of
the
them.
track one right up to the seven.
That's
So now that I've done one video for O2, the guys told me, man, your idea is mad. Your idea is expensive. The clear budget.
yeah.
Your idea is expensive, but we could work on something. And they've encouraged me to just, take my time to put down something. It doesn't really matter. I could work on the next album and drop it, but if I have an idea of creating a movie around Drift and put it for Cameroonians to see, it will actually be great, because I feel
Right.
like since it's difficult to connect with spoken words, I think we should break it down, give them something with visuals where they could actually be watching it like a movie and then experience the spoken word part inside.
Because one thing about spoken word is, and I think a lot of art is that you cannot just consume it once. Like the movies that I really enjoy, I want to be able to watch them many times. The books that I really like, The Alchemist, I've read it at least 10 times at this point. And the one thing that happens with good art, I feel, is that you come over and over and keep re-experiencing it. And something that I think you're doing well to do, because there are views on that videos that I've watched. I've probably put at least 20 videos by myself, just watching it over and over again and playing the songs. And I think it's something that people don't understand, making the kind of work that make people, you don't just get it all at the same time. So there's that aspect of not making it complicated, and also making it complicated enough that you have to come back and revisit. And I don't know how you're able to do that, which is probably another album itself for you to explain how you did it. But I'm curious to know how you were able to juggle both your creative work, spoken word poetry, and your job as a social media content creator. Because I know that the last time we were talking, you had a full-time job. You're working in an agency and you're doing that. And you've been able to sort of transition to your freelancing gig where you do your work for yourself, which is, I don't even know how that is. You don't have to give the numbers or anything, but I bet it's very stressful and very demanding to work for yourself, especially in Cameroon. So how are you able to do that, those two?
It was kind of, this Drift album almost took my life, bro. I recorded like almost I recorded almost half of the work. I recorded half of the work during the peak of the coronavirus, like
March,
the shutdown period. Yes, where everybody was supposed to stay home, and all at the same time things were not moving. It's a funny thing, but coronavirus gave me a window. Hustle was not really moving. Companies were shutting down. Clients were shying away from even doing adverts on anything. Everybody just wanted to make a 2 or 3 point flyer with a mask and everything. Coronavirus was all about social responsibility. Nobody was trying to tell you how Mayo can help you cook good spaghetti. So I took that period to actually create for myself. I had to create multiple sessions with studio sessions. Trying to book studio session. Me walk during that period, man, taking, motorbikes and taxis, avoiding the traffic and people, mask and all, just to create the whole thing. But I won't say there was actually a clash, but that window of the isolation period, stay home and all, I used it perfectly. That's when I actually created a lot of what we were experiencing as the Drift album.
Yeah. And with your work, because you have a full-time, you had a full-time job, I don't know if you still have a full-time job as a freelance content creator now that you do. For somebody who is trying to get into that space, somebody who, like me, when I was in Cameroon, I was trying to do poetry and writing and all that. What advice do you have, or what tips have you learned along the way to help people who are trying to break into the creative space? Like they want to become content creators, they want to do social, not influencers, they want to be able to create content and get paid for it. Like, what have you learned along your journey? How has that journey been for you to get to the idea of, all right, this is something that I want to do, to being able to actually do it? And basically, I'm asking for tips, ideas, suggestions of people who want to be able to have a creative, like say my brother, for example, who wants to become a social media consultant, social media content creator. Like, how do you get into that career space in Cameroon?
Okay. Like I said in the beginning, I figured out that there's a problem. Basically, I don't like calling it a problem, but it is a problem when it comes to the digital content in Cameroon. I mean, we're talking from their arts to their flyers to audio and everything, to their music and sound and all. I don't know if it's finance or just negligence or people not wanting to push themselves, but content is average here, man. Content it's average. People don't want to push themselves to do clean stuff. People don't want to push themselves to do something that has that X factor, that wow factor. It's been a problem for a very long time. I mean, our brother Binet had a series one time. He was reviewing logos and flyers from other companies and all. It was interesting, him trying to pick out some of the errors and all. But after that, I was expecting that, he actually did like 2 or 3 sessions of graphic design and tips and all. I was expecting that maybe after that things would change and all, but I still see people dropping flyers, dropping videos, dropping art. I mean, I work in an advertisement company where I will say this clear, and it's not like it's a problem, but I will say this clear. This company came to me and they gave me their art. I was in charge of the screens at that time. I could control the screens, put ads on the 20 seconds art. They came to me with their art. Mind you, this is a big company, bro. They are launching a new product, like a big product. Like this company is making millions, and their competitor is another big company. And they came to me with this stuff for under 20 seconds, and I watched it, and I'm like, what is going on?
Qu'est-ce qui n'a pas marché?
Qu'est-ce qui n'a pas marché, bro? And I'm like, and my colleague was there, was like, bro, they probably paid these people millions to make this video. 20 seconds, no communication, no aesthetics, no finesse, nothing. It was just plain, just gibberish. And we had to put that stuff on the screens without actually struggling to change anything, because now you're not directly in line with those who created it. So your job, you've been paid to put the screen online. I mean, they validated it before it came to you, so you don't want to be that guy, or this thing doesn't look good, or it's not your company, bro. Yeah. And that's from there I started having that deep bitterness, I would say, to create something different. And also what really helped me is, of course, social media, digital media, like online. I've noticed something. People are not curious enough. Creatives in Cameroon are not curious enough. Like, what does it take you to go to YouTube or on YouTube and just search what you're interested in? See how other people have done it. See how they are doing it. See how they are trying to push it. And even if we don't have those mechanisms, we don't have those designs, we don't have those plugins, we don't have those stuff, try to see how you can make something look better or something different from what others are doing, from what you've been doing. I mean, I watched I have this guy right now, he's driving me crazy when it comes to product ads. Daniel Schiffer. I think you know him.
I know Daniel Schiffer, yeah.
Bro. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but if you're really interested in creating,
if
you're really interested in creating good product videos and art and design and all, if you start searching on YouTube, you'll find this guy. Wherever you are, you'll find this guy. So those are some of the elements, those are some of the variables that actually shaped me, that actually pushed me, that actually, changed my thought process on how I should go about this. And my mission, and I know a lot of people are out there, Bine is actually doing a great job, coming up with a different vibe when it comes to arts and all, and the team too over there at iGeraud Partners. I feel great watching these people doing this clean stuff.
William Taco. I would love to have William Taco here to talk about this because I think that's one of the
Exactly,
pioneers in changing like the whole national landscape of the way design is done for many people. And I think he's one of the people who can actually talk about this thing extensively. And Vivi said something here that I'm hoping that you can touch on. She says, sometimes you just don't even have your parents' support because I think making art / a creative career wouldn't get you anywhere. I have my own experience with this, but I'd love to hear your first. Like, how's the family taking this so far?
All right. My brother might kill me for this, but I'll say
Girlfriend, no shots fired.
No shots fired. I remember I was around maybe 16 or something, or 16, 17. We used to play around Fruity Loops. It was Fruity Loops 6 or 9 at that time.
Yeah.
And he came to the house one time. I was in a room with my other brother. And we had this setup where we have a laptop, Fruity Loops, speakers and all. And I was trying to come up with something, create some instrumentals and some stuff. Now it was all about the music, create something for yourself. I mean, while he was in the living room talking with my mother, I was inside just playing with that stuff. And when I left, I came to the living room. This is what he said to me. They are told you do with this, so you will give you waiting. That's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said. They are told you do with this, so you will give you waiting. I felt it deep down because in my mind, I also thought about it. I'm like, man, this thing that I'm doing, what is it going to give me?
What am I doing here?
What am I doing? Then again, I'm like, well, maybe he's expecting me to be reading books right now, studying, doing my assignment and all that stuff. But I don't have any assignment. It's not school time and all. So after that, fast forward to when I dropped the message last year, 2019, that I'm working on an album. I think it was a shocker for so many people. They thought I was joking. People were just like, man, just one of those hype stuff that people always post, and at the end of the day, nothing comes up. Just wait for it. Wait for it. And I kept, nobody has ever hyped their stuff like me. I don't know. I kept hyping that Drift album so bad that people really started asking me questions.
I think DJ Khaled has done it.
Yes.
Khaled has hyped his stuff.
Those questions actually pushed me. They pushed me because some people came to me with challenging words like, you make me annoyed, so maybe that's try come on fine. You get. And that's when I started thinking, oh, I'm in trouble, bro. I really need to do something great. Yes. But so still, like, it did not steer me away from the reason why I'm creating Drift. I said something in the first ever live video that I did to just explain exactly what Drift is all about. I call the album my therapy. It's a therapeutic thing for me. It's my own sitting with myself and asking myself questions, deep questions, honest stuff, and answering the questions in writing and putting in the spoken words on instrumentals. It's a therapy for me. Sometimes when I go back, I listen to them. I just be like, man, this were those tough days, man. Yeah. Every story, every line is that, like, it's a deep, serious, honest stuff about me. No faking, no lies, nothing. And this is what happened to me when I finished the album. After listening to all of it, and I'm like, Geraud, don't drop this album. It's too personal. You're talking about Ututu, you're talking about where you grew up, you're talking about your family, you're talking about you being depressed, you're talking about you suffering, you're talking about, having fake friends and all that stuff, you're talking about you leaving your job and all that stuff, you're talking about your relationship being messed up. And I'm like, no, let me not put this thing out there. It might change people's perspective of me, but at the end of the day, I'm like, this is my story, bro.
If you don't tell it, who would tell your story better than you, man?
Exactly.
That's powerful. And it's something that I think people don't realize, that when you make these things, because one of the difficulties that I'm having right now with my writing is that I'm missing the words. Like there used to be a time when I would write and I would be like, yes, this is my story. I'm writing from my heart. But a lot of times when I go to the keyboard and I type some things and I read like the first two paragraphs, I'm like, this is crap. This is not true. Like you can't bullshit yourself when you're making art. You can't lie yourself into making beautiful art. It's either you know the truth. You know that this is true and this is false, and people resonate with the truth. And I think that's what I resonated with your album, because there is a lot of truth and honesty in there that still has to be uncovered. And I'm curious to know how you're able to get some of these people to collaborate with you, because if to just summarize what I've learned so far, if somebody's trying to jump into the content creation space, first thing that you did mention that I'm thinking about is the fact that your family could actually still not believe that what you're doing has value. But if you don't believe in yourself, then you lost. Like your brother did say that, he was saying it from a good place. Now he was saying to stop it. And I'm sure now he's like very proud of you for everything they're doing right now, right?
Exactly. It's like he called himself the number one sponsor.
Yeah, and that's part of a relationship that I didn't even know existed, that you had, because I always thought that your brother supported everything. Because for me, in my own case, my family has never really stood against my writing, but it's one of those like, go and study, like just focus on school. This whole blogging thing like that, just do school first. We'll see that one after. But then as time moves on, and then as you're able to show them that you actually know what you're doing, you're able to take care of yourself, like you're able to pay your bills. I think a lot of African parents and grandfathers, older brothers, older sisters, if you can show that you're independent, they'll leave you alone. You can do whatever the hell you want. And it's something that people don't realize. They just want you to be okay. They want you to be able to take care of yourself. And if you cannot do that, then they will try to guide you to the best of their ability, which usually is focus on your school, focus on your job, do something that makes sense in this country. Don't try to be creative. Who does that?
Nobody cares.
Yeah. It's see, you've shared a lot of things here, man. I'm looking at your story and everything that you've been able to go through up to this particular point, and I'm thinking that you've not even started. Like you're still just scratching the surface of that. And I'm curious to know how you shot Wututu. Like, what did you write the script? Did somebody else direct it? Like, how did that happen specifically for that particular video?
Man, where do you come up with all these questions? No, honestly, man, you're asking me questions that I really want people to ask me, because there's a lot to say about it. Wututu video, actually, Godlove, Daughter Godlove is one of my childhood friends. He's a cinematographer now. He lives in Yaoundé. He's the one who shot the first ever video, Ovation video. And I had to call him back. I'm like, bruh, another one is up. Let's see what we can do about this one. And I'm not calling him, but I'm going to say here because I really appreciate that. I cannot count how many times I've said thank you, bro, to him, because, it's a project where I didn't have like some $1 million budget for it. So I was looking for the best possible way to do a low budget video to make things just flow. And at the same time, I was looking for somebody I could work with where the space is flexible. Like we could change ideas, we could do things differently. So I sent him the instrumental. And he traveled over to Douala, and he came and he was like, okay. I said, bro, you are a cinematographer here. I have ideas in my head, but let me just throw it out. What do you think? How can we really put this thing out? And he was like, what is your own idea for Wututu? I'm like, first of all, we need to go back to where I grew up and take a couple of shots. But what I have in mind is I need a kid. I need a young man. I need a young man just playing around, trying to replicate some of the areas that I used to go to, trying to be free, trying to show how I grew up, like the freedom, the space, the carefreeness and all. At the same time, I just want to narrate the story while he demonstrates something. No script, nothing. We didn't have any storyboard and all. And he said, okay, he'll work with that. We had to do a storyboard. Guess what, bro? No storyboard. We didn't have any storyboard. We traveled that day from Douala to Limbe, and we got there. And the guy, what's his name? Joel, Wanji Joel. That's his nephew. So he came that day. We arrived. It was a Sunday. It's a one-day shoot. We did it that day. We edited that day. So
everything.
We came there. Yes, everything. We arrived with two, and I was like, we need a young man. I was like, I need to call my brothers
son. He said, where is Joel? Joel is in church. We went to church. Church Baptist church was going on at that time. We called Joel. Joel came out. We're like, Joel, how? He said, oh, uncle. He saw his uncle and was like, my uncle is around. I'm just looking at the guy. I'm like, you don't even know what you're about to do. Right?
You have no idea.
And all we said to him was, go and change, because he was having an Afro-cheap top, and said, go and change and wear something smart, a t-shirt or something. He went home, changed, and all. Now this is the whole idea. We shot with two the same way Money Heist was shot when Netflix called for another episode. Like on the move, like it's like they are waiting for it to come out, and people just have to be creating stuff while they are shooting, and shooting at the same time, editing at the same time. So when we started, we did not know even what was going to be the opening scene or anything. So this was like my own small narrative. The guy was like, just do something different. Like, the guy is trying to see where you are, following your shadow or something, and going through your path where you've been and all that stuff. That scene where that young man is running and going towards a stream, they call it a wongo. I've actually done that particular move, ran there several times to go get water. So it was like me watching myself run. Time travel stuff. And it was quite interesting when he came out with the footages, and I'm like, man, this reminds me of a lot. And that sea shot was just my own ending scene. I really wanted everything to end with nature. We had the grass and everything. I just wanted that open space, airy water vibe, so that it just feels relaxed and all. So there was nothing actually special in it. And that book transfer was just like my own way of saying, I'm not going to be here forever. This thing that I'm creating, I really want somebody to pick it up and continue from where I'm going to end. I don't know. That's exactly the narrative for that book transfer.
There's so much symbolism to dissect in this. I feel like there's a lot that was done that you only have to look back. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why this happened. Because when I watch that video, for some reason, it just feels, I watch a lot of videos, generally speaking, like movies, and unfortunately or fortunately, I tend to see like really good things and appreciate, shots and B-roll and all that, even though I'm not able to do them myself. And when I'm watching your video, I'm seeing somebody who has poured his heart in it. And I think it's something that is, I don't know how easy it is to replicate it, because I want to be able to learn from you how to do that. I feel like there's so much that you've done that I want to pick up and be like, how can I apply some of these things in my own life? And I want to find out from you, what are some of the things that you've learned throughout this journey of creation and making these things that you think that a creative like me or any other creative should be aware of? Like, what are some, I'll say 4 or 5 tips, ideas, suggestions that you're like, listen, this is going to happen. This is what you should think about. This is what's like, what do you have in mind as advice for me?
The one and only advice I'm going to give, and this is something that people always say, and most of us will take it for granted, is have a plan, bro. Have a plan, because creatives are like, we are always in this fusion. We are like smoke. We are trying to be everywhere at the same time. We can, move around anything. We can run circles on anything. Talk to me about light and I'll come up with something or think of something. So it becomes very difficult to correct your ideas if you don't have a plan. Okay, I'm about to create drift. What am I going to say on track 1 to 2? Guess what? Another thing about having a plan, I'm not saying have a plan because I had a plan. I'm saying have a plan because I didn't have a plan. I'm saying have a plan because it's something that I actually realized midway around when I was actually doing the project. And I realized that, bro, you did not have a plan. And I was going with this vibe that I keep saying to myself right now. I'm calling it the flow. I was going with the flow, like whatever comes up, I pick it and I continue. And it just makes sense. It's making sense not because that's what is supposed to be there. It's just because I didn't have a plan. So I call it the flow in quotes because it just feels like there was an invincible hand was like, young man, stop, take this idea, put it here, do this. You get it. Yeah. It's so spiritual. And I just felt good about it. And I don't want to talk about church here, but I just felt like there was some higher power on this project.
You can talk about church if you want. Like we were talking earlier with Lorraine. She said that art, she did, let me see if I can find it here. She said art is artists try to think like God. That's why they make art. And we did talk about that. Yeah, let me see if I can find that and share it here real quick. But it's something that I think people, if you ignore the role of God in your creation, you're basically fighting and tying your hands by yourself and trying to win with just your body. Like there's no point. It's very stressful to try to do that. And the way you talk about the plan, I was just having a conversation this morning with my friend Dwayne. We have this mastermind where we meet every 2 weeks and talk about things. And really, having that plan is something that my father, I keep hearing all these people telling me about those kind of things and realizing that you need to be able to have a structure. Creativity is great, it's ideas, it's exciting, but if you don't have a structure, it doesn't happen, it doesn't come to life. And this is going to be a little bit, I hope not too personal. I'm trying to find out if the sales of your album were up to what you were expecting. And it's very specific. I'm trying to find out, people like, oh, if you do this kind of thing in Cameroon, you're wasting your time, nobody's going to buy, because I'm trying to make products myself. So I'm wondering whether you actually got the sales that you were expecting or more than what you were expecting. What has that experience been like for you, selling an actual product online?
Okay, great. It's of course not what I was expecting. Like it's not like, it's midway, not below expectation. I'm shocked at the same time. It's not like what I was expecting from the album, because the price, first of all, that's what is shocking for me. And I had to put it on that price level, because not because I was just thinking of, oh, maybe if 50 people buy, at least I've made money and all. I was doing it thinking about the value, bro. Thinking about the energy, the time, my sacrifice. I said something online, and I know people sometimes they don't catch it. I said, if you listen to Drift from the start to the end, you'll be able to feel my soul. I'm not just selling an album. I'm selling a part of myself to you. I'm sharing part of my mind, my belief system, my suffering, my enjoyment, my thoughts, my intelligence to you. Yeah. And I don't just want to put it in some kind of price where it will just be watered down, or just feel like it's just one of those regular stuff. I really want you to pay that money and go back and listen to it and like, it's worth it. I did not just waste my time. But here's the thing. When it was time for me to come up with my target audience, I wasn't really thinking about Cameroonians. You know, I was thinking about, sorry?
Why were you not thinking about Cameroonians?
I was looking at the price point. When I said I wasn't thinking about Cameroonians, like I wasn't really depending on them. Okay. You know, first, for the sake of price, budget, you know, people were crying, oh, it's been a tough year and all. Secondly, my whole process for Drift is I am trying to export. I'm working on an album now where it's going to be like an awareness album that's going to, like, you know, this is what I'm doing, take it for free, listen to this. But Drift for me, after listening to everything, I just felt like this is content for me to export. It's not really well fine-tuned. It's not the best of spoken word material that's coming from Africa or Cameroon, but let me do an exploitation of this content. Let me tell people over there that we are doing something here different. We are doing something unique. There's somebody here that understands how score works. There's somebody here that is trying to revolutionize spoken words, because there's nowhere on this planet Earth that you will hear 808s in spoken words. You will hear chorus, you will hear vocal samples, you will hear voice samples. It's different. And I felt like this is my opportunity to make the world know that Cameroon is a great nation. Like, we have creatives. We just need people to believe that we can do it. We need people to come in and put hands together, and let's work together and create something great for the world. I mean, it's content. Anybody can come in and chip in their own information. Somebody can come from Hawaii and say, I have a Hawaiian story or something different, and we both spread it to the world. It's a digital age, it's a global village. Yeah. So I just felt like really focusing on my people. I started a giveaway recently. I have to send 2 free albums to some people. I'll do it every week. This is my own way of just sending it out. You know, because I understand that most people are not going to be able to get it for that 5K. So I'll be doing giveaway at least once a week, and just giving at least 2 albums every week and for a period of time, and I just shut it down from there.
Actually, for the people watching right now, I'm going to pick somebody in the comment section and then send them a copy of the album. So that's what you get for hanging out and talking with Geraud. So the way you win is that you ask a very interesting question. That's the only requirement. If you're watching this and you would like to get an album, I'll personally buy it and send to you. It's digital, so you don't have to worry about shipping. All you need is your email address. So yeah, it's just, I think it's an amazing album. I think more people should listen to it, and I'm looking forward to getting questions from people in the audience, because we do have talked about a lot of things. I'm sure there's a lot that we could talk about. Maybe we'll dissect more in another session. But right now, I want to find out from those who are watching, if you have any questions for Geraud, this is a good time for you to ask, to find out if you've listened to the album, if you have something to say about it. Good. I think there's a Thomas Ngwe. I'm pronouncing like an American. Jesus Christ. He says the man has many talents, and he says, sorry, but creativity limitless. Do you mean creativity is limitless? I think it is too. The thing is, with creativity, if you don't have a structure, if you don't have constraints, then actually creativity works best when you have constraints, right? Yeah. So, and Domin says, great questions, Kamga, an excellent response, Geraud. Thank you very much. Yeah, Domin, BCH Master, all of us went to UB around the same time, and it's a very interesting conversation that we always have. So, Geraud, is there anything else that I haven't asked, something that you want to talk about and clarify that I haven't brought up yet? So while I'm going to do the things here, you can expand on that. Something that I missed, you know?
Yeah, I think I just want to say something about the Drift album itself. I'm really interested in sharing so much the creative process. I don't know how to actually formulate questions for myself, but I mean, like you said, we could actually work on breaking down the album, gradually.
Yeah. You know what we could actually do? We could go through the video right now, almost frame by frame, and then you explain things as we watch together. I don't know if it's possible that we can do. Is there something you want to do?
I'm down, bro.
All right, cool. Let me pull that up here real quick, and then we'll do that, because I think people were watching. When you talk about the river and all these other places, I was like, I didn't even pay attention to that, and it would be great to actually hear you talk about how it was done. I feel like it's an amazing thing to hear. So, yeah, those who are watching, we're about to go to dive into the tool itself. By the way, I played the video, so if you see any copyright thing somewhere, please, I'm the one who did it, so don't be upset.
All right.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is pull it up, and if you want to say anything, I'll just pause and ask the questions as I ask, and then we can break it down.
Okay.
All right. What is this? Let me actually make this different. I just got a new screen, in fact, a new computer, and I've had to play around. I used to have my two screens, and it was very easy. I just do my things, but now it's just building all these weird reflexes now. All right, perfect. I've made it the way I wanted it to be.
Okay.
So yeah. I hope you're able to see clearly here.
Clearly, I can see everything.
Perfect. All right, starting now. Are you able to hear? Probably not. Let me just make sure. Okay. Yeah, I did not. Let me fix that.
Okay.
I love technology. Sometimes it just makes you look like an idiot.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying this whole platform. It's amazing, man.
I love StreamYard because it has, and I'm not even using it to the capacity that I know I can, which is one of those creative aspects of working on, these things here. So Geraud is loaded. Igomi says Geraud is loaded. He's did to Kamga milk him. He has a lot to give. I agree. He has a lot to share. So let's go through with the two right now and then break it down and see, and see some of that symbolism in it.
It's been a long walk right up to this moment when everything it's kind of set, and it's something you really need to dive in and take your time to listen to enjoy the content. Because I'll
That's the scene you're talking about, beyond the beach.
Yeah.
Like, this is symbol too.
Yeah. This is a video. This is down beach. This is how they call it. Just after how they call it. Seme.
Yeah.
Just after Seme. Yeah, just after Seme Beach. Funny story. They almost locked us up here.
Really?
We got here. We were supposed to do this scene, and we were coming down, and it was raining, like really raining. In my mind, I'm like, man, I just came here to take one clean, sunset shot with this. And what is going on? And we just packed along the roadside. And just before we started shooting, these military guys came in and they were like, "Oh, what are you guys doing here? You're not supposed to be, civilians are not supposed to stand here."
Yeah.
Which one is civilians not supposed to stand here? This is Cameroon, sorry. We're not out of the country. We're not trying to
Yeah.
run a tool boat or something. And he was like, "Nah, this is not appropriate. That someone died here a long time ago. The person was trying to swim or something. And secondly, it's not safe. This place is all secured." And all started talking. I'm like, this is becoming difficult. And we explained to him that no, we are just passing. We lied. We lied to him that we're just passing. We're coming from another area down at they call it Eating Now. We say we're from Eating Now. We're just passing and we're enjoying the view. We just wanted to take a couple of pictures and all. And the guy saw the DJI.
Oh.
And he was like, "Oh, those are the females who qua." We said, no, chef, no, chef. We are trying to just take pictures. These are machines that we use from the other side. And we did a lot of content jargon, say a lot of things about cinematography, and all. They didn't even get it. I was so happy about it. My cinematography friend came in with some jargons and all. We were like, "Oh, that's fine." But they said we need to hurry up and leave this place. We were doing all that in the rain. And I was like, "How are we going to pull this shot? It's raining and all." And he stopped for a while and started drizzling. And I told my guy, "This is the moment. I want that water falling down, that slow-mo, because we shot this in 120 frames per second, 4K. So I told him, I want this shot, I want that slow-mo shot and all. This is our time." And that's how we got it. We shot that thing under 20 minutes or less. We left immediately. We were trying to avoid problems.
That is impressive, man. Like, I think this is how we're going to go through, because all these frames, like, you were able to tell this story and put it down. And I know I sound like I'm a fan, because I am. And I have my guy, Mark. Mark says he made it. Mark is a very good friend. We always play video games together on stream. Mark, good to have you on the stream, man. And I'm talking with Geraud about this cool, like, I'm trying to picture, like, how. I mean, I remember you talked about the fact that you filmed this, the part where you're sitting, right? This part, this section, where you said you memorized your poem and you had to read it so many times that you, at the end, when you felt it, you actually had to cry. I think you said something about that. Yeah.
Kamga. that was like the peak. I was here with my guy, just the two of us. Like, this is a space that we shot it. I just had to, change the position of my chair. And it was like, "Let's take another shot. Let's do another take. I did not do this. The light was not right. This was not right. This was not right." I mean, when you start doing things like this, you're just all about, let me just recite, let me just ad-lib, and so that it matches with what is happening. But after taking a couple of shots, I started hearing these words in my head, man. I started feeling it. It started getting to me. I forgot about the camera. I forgot about everything. Okay, another thing, the blindfold for me, this is a significant for the blindfold. The blindfold for me is, I feel like our eyes, or the eye side of us, is one of those things that allows us to perceive things. Whatever goes in, affects our minds, our thoughts, our brains, and all this stuff. And I was just like, let me limit what goes into my eyes. This is sound. I just want to feel it. I just want to let people enjoy the sight of it. Like, let them watch me. I'm not supposed to watch the camera or the lens or whatever. I just want to blindfold myself and feel the sound and deliver. And this is just something that actually came to me, and I've actually signed it. And I said to myself, I'll never do a spoken word video where somebody is going to see my eyes. All videos that are going to be spoken words, I'm going to blindfold my eyes. That's just been something that I've just signed. I've already started practicing for performances. Tito called me the other time. We were supposed to work on something. And I'm even hoping that if somebody calls me for a performance, I would like to perform with my eyes closed. I want you people to feel the sound, feel the visuals, see everything while I'm just putting out the words. And all. That's actually one of the reasons why I did the blindfold. In that moment, the thing got to me to a level where I could not hold it. Luckily, I had blindfold on, man. My guy would have been like, "Bro, what's wrong with you?" My eyes were all wet, and there's a scene at the end where I did something like this.
it was me trying to dry. I know I forgot I had blindfolds on. I was trying to, you know, dry my eyes in the process while he was like shooting. It's almost at the end. That's a genuine move. It wasn't like me trying to do some. That's a part. Yes, that's when the tears was like my eyes were all wet, and I'm like, man, what did I just do? What have I created? What am I really going to put this thing out there for everybody to see? This is like, I thought of so many low points in my life. I thought of so many great points in my life, like some good stuff and the bad stuff. And I was like, it's overwhelming, man. And I really have to share this with people. I mean, people who don't know me, people who know me. And man, it's some kind of a mini breakdown, but I just had to let it out. And that's exactly the expression right there. No faking, bro.
See, there's you know, I've written some things or made some videos that resonated with me very personally, and the feedback I've always had from my comment. That's why I love my YouTube community, because there are people in there who write things. I think of people like Ryan Lawless, Mark, people in the Cameroonian YouTubers with Lorraine and Domin and Alex Blank. Like, there are people who leave comments that make me like realize like this thing that I did really resonated with this person, and that's huge. And I think it's important to recognize the fact that our work can really impact people in a way that we don't even realize how big an impact it can be. It could be just one word that you say, it could be one phrase, one audio, but it changes the way you see the world forever. And I'm very grateful that you were able to share your soul with us, basically. And we're able to enjoy this from this distance for what? For just $25, you're able to enjoy somebody's hard-earned work. And that's the thing people don't realize. You know, like Mark was saying, you shot under 20 minutes. You mean like, you know, that particular shot was under 20 minutes. But then the editing, the vision was a year ago. Like you said, you announced this album last year, and then now people are seeing the product of it. So it's like all that time adds up to this particular point where you make something, and like you said, now you're working on the next one. And I'm wondering what has changed for you since dropping this album. Like, can you talk about life post drift and pre-drift? Like, what has that been like for you?
One word: free.
Freeing? Expand.
Yes, free in the sense that, man, I had a lot to say. I had a lot to share. I had a lot going on. And I have friends. I have people that I share my stories with. I have people that call in the middle of the night. I'm like, bro, I'm stressed. I have people I call maybe in the evening. I'm like, bro, I just had this bill paid. I mean, let's go have a bottle of Guinness or something. Let's go and ball or something. I have those people, but to genuinely and freely create, write, come up with true stories without being interrupted. Like, you're not trying to tell anybody anything. It's like you're speaking to yourself. That's why I call it my therapy. It's different, and you put it in out there, and you watch people embrace it. Like when you called me, I'm like, bro, this album, like, this is dope. I'm like, man, really, really? No, I'm not. I'm going to say this clear, man. You have been one of those people where I'm a fan of your art. Like your pen is tight. I mean, even tighter. And each time you write, I read everything, bro. I will not lie to you. I read everything, and I just felt like this guy came to me. I'm like, this is dope, man. It felt good. It felt great. And a lot of other people, they came to me and like, man, this is your stuff, man. And I'm like, wow. So I'm not weird. My story.
So, yeah.
I'm not weird. My story is not kind of ugly, that bad. My experiences are not just kind of, you know, strange. I mean, some people could resonate to, some people could connect to my story. I felt good. I felt good because, like I said, the whole album it's personal. It's me putting on my personal stuff, and I felt like I lost a lot of people along the line with my lines, with my words, you know, trying to keep things on codes and metaphors and stuff. And that's exactly what I'm trying to work on right now. The next album is just going to be the people. It's just going to be for the people, but still I'll keep this style. I'm working on some relatable stuff. I'm working on now stories. I'm working on stories now. I'm not working on myself right now. I'm working on
discussing with people. I could come to you. I'm like, man, when you got married, what was it like for you? Just give me like your first, 30 days as a married man. I mean, I was really happy. Great shorts, man. Your socks, man. I like your sock. Your marriage.
My Batman socks.
That
Yeah,
sucks.
my wife gave me those. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I'm coming. That's where I'm coming in now for the next one up. I want to pick unique stories, and these unique stories, I want to create spoken words around them and shoot them. That's
No.
exactly
You've,
that's the way forward.
yeah, you've actually answered the question. I was about to ask you what you're moving forward to. You talk about the album that you're working on, talk about telling stories. Is there something else that you're working on that we should be looking out for?
Presently, the UPDEY studio freelance company that I created is actually a group. I just created a group. I've been talking to a couple of guys on how we could register it, and they are giving me all the paperwork and all. It's a group. You have the UPDEY itself. It's a digital consultancy firm. And you have the UPDEY studios. You have UPDEY apparel. But I don't want to spread everything out and trying to be a junkie or something. I'm focusing on the UPDEY studios now, solving the problem with art, but using my creativity to come up with unique stuff. I feel like I have a long way to go. And I feel like the UPDEY studio part needs a lot of work. I'm still in a learning process. I'm still trying to correct a lot of cards, a lot of things. I'm just trying to get myself into tutorials, learning new stuff. So that's the way forward for me, building my skill as a creative, polishing my language, polishing my notes, polishing my writing, polishing my videos, and see how I could come up with something greater than what I've done. That's my focus, bro. They say life is short. I don't want to be like, oh, I have a 10-year plan. I have a plan now.
Yeah.
I have a plan now. I know what might come tomorrow, maybe for next 5, 10 years if I continue to do what I'm doing. I have the vision, it's in my head, I've written it down. But I'm more interested in what I'm about to do the next 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Which client I'm working with, how I'm going to deliver, what are the ideas I'm going to share with them, how we're going to create what they have, put it in something that they're actually expecting to share to the world, make money from it, or advertise or promote. That's all I'm focusing on.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Are you hiring? Is there somebody who's watching this who's in Douala and is like, I need a job, and a person can come and meet you?
Bro, when you call the word hiring, I'm a little bit scared, yeah, but I'm open.
Yeah.
I am open.
Yeah.
I'm working with freelancers.
Okay.
I am open. I am ready. Anybody who is out here, Douala, Yaoundé. Each time I meet people, my networking skills was really whack a couple of years ago. Right now, when I meet people, I'm just like, hey, bro, what's up? I'm iGeraud. What do you do? Like, I plug myself out. You never know. So I'm open to work with a lot of people. Right now, I have a team of like 4. We have someone in charge of voiceover. We have someone in charge of editing. We have people in charge of graphic design. We have people in charge of web design, and all under UPDEY studio. So we're just trying to do our own bit of the whole creative process and trying to make bread. But I'm open. I'm to work with a lot of people.
Man, this has been very, very interesting for me to learn more about you, to find out about how you grew up. Like, the part about Fruity Loops, I had no idea that was something that was going on. And throughout the years that you did in GMC, we never really talked. I feel like it's one of those, everybody was in their own space doing their own thing. And I'm sure that we'll still discover more and more. And I'm campaigning to be able to do vocals for your next album at some point. So,
bro, I'll eat you. Guess what? The vocal samples for Drift, apart from Nora Debit, she's in America right now. I just hope she's watching. I have to talk to her. Like after this, we had a program to discuss more on working together.
Yeah.
I just met her and I was like, oh, I really enjoy your vibe and all. I'm working on this book project. You mind if I write something down and you do me a voice over on it, and I want to use it for my project? It's like, no, I don't mind. I've never seen her like in person, never met. So she just like, yeah,
the internet's an amazing place, man.
She just the rest of it is just impromptu stuff. The voice over for Annie and Songani, the time track where he spoke about.
That's my favorite track. So I love it.
This year has been so tough and all. I actually sent her the instrumental. And I'm like, she's also a creative. She's also great. She has a good ear with sound and all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen to this. Tell me, what do you think? How does it make you feel? That was my question. And without no script, nothing, I didn't have any voice on it. And she came to me like, just I saw recording. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. It was like a 2-minute voice note, and I started listening. It was like, man, it feels good. It feels great, man. You know, it makes you feel emotional at the same time, grateful, man. So many people are going through a lot, you know.
Yeah.
You realize that time no day, like you just really have to focus on it. And guess what? Before I sent her that instrumental, I said the title for this track is going to be Time. And when she came back to me with Time No Really Day, I'm like, nah.
This is it. This is synchronicity. This is
it. What I say about that flow.
Yeah.
That's the flow.
That hand just guiding you. Like, that's God just showing you the way quietly and silently. You just have to listen and have to be open to following the directions when the directions fall in place. Man, that's I can't even begin to imagine people have worked in the background. Like, is there anybody you want to shout out? Somebody who has been supportive? I know your brother already, and people who've worked on this for you. Yeah.
Bro, there's so many, man. You have my producers actually. I mixed and mastered that stuff 3 times. That was very stressful. You know, I learned a lot about mixing and mastering too. Working with AJ, the guy that finally did everything together. I have AJ Beats. I have it was my first time to work with KZ of Rhythms. K Master K. Yeah, man, those guys are far, man. They're mastering and everything. Those guys, they know what they're doing. And my brothers, the 808 family, Edile Dre, Paola Gobina, Egbe, bro. Egbe. I said something on Twitter the other day. I'm like, protect Egbe, and people are taking it lightly. That guy has that depth. Like when he's on the key, he has that Hans Zimmer energy. He scored a Cameroonian movie, I think it was 2 years ago. But I asked him, how did you do it? He said, they just asked him to do a couple of piano sounds, and that was, I'm like, oh, okay. Then I'm like, bro, we really need to work on this. You have Egbe, you have Raf instrumental. That's the first person I started working with. I got connected to Raf via this guy connected me to Raf. One Shay is also my very creative guy. He sent me a couple of his works. We always go back and forth. We stop, we'll listen to this, listen to that. And I'm like, who did this? He said, Raf. I'm like, this boy is dark. Send me his number. I'm like, Raf, I'm working on spoken words. I'm working on creating score music, and this is it. And Raf got to me, and I really appreciate that guy. All the instrumental he sent to me, I only had to correct one. When he sent them to me, I'm like, bruh. The instrumental for 3020, that futuristic, stuff. When he sent it to me, I was scared. I'm like, brother, I said, give me something different and unique. What do you want me to? How am I going to get into this? And I said to myself, it's a challenge.
Yeah,
it's a challenge. You really need to have to write. And since it sounded that gothic, that futuristic vibe, I just had to put it 3020. Like, what would the future generation of maybe 3020 or 2000 or something feel about the works that we've done now? How are they going to connect to this video that we've done, this live session, this small infographics that we do every day, this work of art and all? How are they going to connect to it? You see the way we connect with works from Elvis Presley,
Michael Jackson,
it's crazy. I mean, I just asked myself that question. I said, okay, let me just put something down and maybe 2020, maybe the year 3020. I don't know who is going to connect to it.
Hopefully humanity is still here, because the way things are going on the continent, and like, I don't know if we're going to last up to that particular point. Those are
the guys that actually work up. Maggie Blaze, man, Maggie, those vocals, man.
She did vocals for which song? Let me see. Which song was that?
She did vocals for Dream. She did the vocals for Time.
Yeah, I see that, because I had to label the album. I see Sango Eddie was in Grow, and
yes, Eddie was in Grow. I actually called Eddie, like, that guy is busy, man. I called him a couple of times, and I'm like, we need to do this. Man. He said, meet me at 9. I called at 9. I'm like, bro, finally I got to him, and he said, man, meet me at 10. I got there. We finally met around 11 p.m. and we got to the studio, and I'm like, this is the instrumental. This is your part. I just need your energy. We've featured before. We've worked together before. Ovation 2. The
Yeah.
vocal sample for Ovation 2, he's the one that did the vocal sample. So I'm like, I need that energy back. I need something like that. But I want you to just be you. I don't want to direct you. Just feel it. Just vibe to it. Just flow. And Paula Gobina was in the studio at that time, the same time. And when Edilejo was trying to do something, Paula Gobina was like, I'm like, don't behind here. Just join in. Just do it. And that's how we both, created Group.
Oh man, there's so much here that I think I can pick up from listening to your gut, being able to still have a plan, learn from your mistakes, and then have this team along the years, both family and professionals that you're working with, and then working towards your own goals. Like your story is a really great example of the kind of path that a young Cameroonian can take, because even somebody starting today watching this video can learn from like you and what you've been able to do so far. And in the next 5-10 years, I mean, yes, you say don't do 10-year plans, but having a plan helps. Having a structure helps. It's something that you can use to guide and be aware of your context. Like you took your album and you were already in the mindset like people will not be able to buy this album in Cameroon. Let me look at a way to get it out there. You put it on a platform that is available for everybody to use. And there's so many lessons to the here. There's so much symbolism, and the quality of the storytelling, man. It's amazing, and I'm very grateful to actually be able to experience this in this time. So thank you so much for doing this and for being here. And where can people find you?
iGeraud 360 on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at iGeraud 360. Okay. I'm working on my website. I know it's kind of lame saying I'm working on my website too.
I'm working on mine too, so don't worry. I'm the only one. I've typed it in there in the comment section for those who are watching, and I'll put it right here.
iGeraud 360. You could check on I've pinned it on Twitter. The album is there. It's on my wall on Facebook. It's on my bio on Instagram. You can check it. You see the link to the album. You go there. The link to the video is also there. If you're trying to like get an avant-go of what I've done, you watch the video, maybe you change your mind and you go get the album. I guarantee when you get that album, come back to me. I don't know whoever is watching, wherever you are, DM me. I will reply everybody. Just tell me how you felt. Like, how was it for you? Like, if you want us to work, if there's something you want me to add, if I made a mistake, if you want to correct I'm open for everything. I'm open.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate this. And for all of you guys who joined us to watch this stream, I know it's a very long stream. It did not start the way we're expecting. We have terrible things happening in Cameroon, and we're still able to do this because for me, being able to connect with people like this is what feeds my soul, to know that what we are doing matters and we can move forward and still find solutions amidst all the problems that are ongoing. So I'm very, very happy that you're able to make it. I was worried that there's something that happened to you. That was my thoughts, like, whoa, I hope this guy is actually okay. Like, I hope he's fine.
Yeah. Why I came here is another 2 hours live session.
Oh, by the way, how did it go at CRTV? How did
it went great. I mean, the interview was kind of, bumpy and all, but everything went great so far.
All right. Awesome. Well, guys, Vivi, thank you so much for being here. Lorraine, it's good to have you guys. Always amazing to have people watching. I know, like, time is expensive in this world, and taking the time to be here means a lot to me. Herman, thanks you so much. I said thanks you. Thank you. Think Loud came. She said, "This is so deep." Or I said she. Why do I think Loud is she? It could be she. Think Loud said, "This is so deep. Thanks for sharing."
I guess appreciate everybody watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
On social media, I will continue the conversation. Talk, DM me anything.
Awesome. All right, guys. We're going to be ending the stream right now.